Welcome in, everyone, to another episode of ZB's Horsepower Talk. As always, I'm ZB, Zack Brown, and joining with me, as always, is former 410 Sprint Car crew chief and mechanic, my dad, Jeff Brown. It's Throwback Week right now. We have a big episode here. Finally back from vacation right now. Was in a little bit of a different country, so missed out on some of the races, but was able to keep up through the wife's internet, scrolling it back and refreshing.
Nice.
So I saw the results from Dover, and I was like refreshing. I saw like the final laps, and I saw like Larson slowly closing in on Denny on the Dover race. And I was like, oh, refresh. They didn't have it on TV anywhere. The only ones and you would think they would have basketball on the only sports bar on that ship. They didn't. It was like, I'm pretty sure it was like pickleball or something. So that was weird. But Dover, quick recap. Obviously, Denny Hamlin holds off Kyle Larson. That's cool. That's a couple weeks ago. Let's talk about the race we saw at Kansas, and this is probably one of the best races I've seen at a long time. And can we just what?
That much?
Oh, I didn't know. See what you did, and yeah, I don't even think it was that much. You're being that was yeah. The original scoring had Chris Buescher over Larson by 1/1000th, but when you had the photo finish and they had a bunch of different angles at it, Larson by literally a hair. The closest finish in NASCAR history, 1/1000th of a second.
Photo finish. They rounded up to get the 1/1000th of a second.
Probably. It's photo finish after photo finish this year. Mile and a halves have proven with these cars that it is a fantastic racing. And even like we talked about a couple weeks ago, Texas was a good race. Kansas is probably the most underrated track we've had now. It just continues to put on great races, phenomenal racing all throughout the entire day. There's tons of stuff going on. There was a lot of strategy involved, but it was just a great race. I can't say any more about it. It was just an amazing race. I loved how they started in the late evening. That I think they actually played a part of how it was a better race. You start off a little bit of daytime, transition into nighttime. Obviously, weather delayed it a little bit, but that was awesome.
Yeah, that's actually probably not a bad time to start a race on these tracks. Then, if they want to run Sunday night, start it at 5. That way, it's over 9:30. It's not so late. But we talked about it on the show before, and we're like, how do you fix NASCAR? You have to have a track that wears the tires out a little bit. That puts more in the driver's hands. Do you run it hard, burn the tires off, get to the front? Do you conserve tires, be fast at the end of a run? How do you save fuel on that? Do you have to get tires? You can't have it to where it's dangerous wearing tires, but they just have to have a fall off. And that was great. I mean, it was outside of the part of the third stage. Denny Hamlin kind of stunk it up for a little bit when he was kind of had the lead, but we got some restarts, made it exciting. And but the first couple stages, Larson and Chastain just going at it like they were in freaking sprint cars. It was awesome.
Yeah, and Chastain fell off big time in the race. I think
I had him in my fantasy. I was leading fantasy with 5 or 10 laps to go.
He might have been one of the many that had some pit road issues. A lot of people had pit road issues. Even Larson, the first stage, had issues on the left side tires. It was a little bit slower than usual. Luckily, it didn't fall off this time. I just can't say enough, and I really think mile and a halfs, you need to add some more. And I think that, and I heard Junior talking about it on one of his podcasts this week, Marcus Smith is probably seeing all this great racing with this generation car, and everybody's flooding these mile and a half tracks, how good it is. The Roval might be done after this year.
Yeah, bring Chicago back.
Chicagoland's awesome. I love Chicagoland. And throw in Rockingham. Marcus Smith, I think, is still looking at buying Rockingham. I think that would be a very smart investment.
That's a 1 mile and 3/8 or something like that.
It would be very great racing like this.
Oh my God, yeah. Plus,
I'd love to see how this car handles on it. It would be awesome. Talk about throwback weekend. You could do a throwback weekend in Rockingham. That'd be cool.
That's for sure.
And we'll touch on throwback weekend here in a second. But yes, so Larson, he's building up his momentum right now. Hopefully keeps it going in May. He's got a big month this month.
Yeah.
That was weird how I said that. So
you've got a lot of racing going on.
So a lot of news in NASCAR. So let's go through it. So the one thing talking about Larson's big month, well, during the qualifying for the Indianapolis 500, he likely won't be able to make it, at least for the All-Star qualifying. And so they're saying Harvick can qualify for it, but it's different if Harvick qualifies for it because he actually has to go through the open race, I believe. So if they have it, he has to go through that. It has nothing to do with, because it's a different person racing for it. It's weird how it's set up because the All-Star race, if you won the previous year, yeah, you can go right in. But I don't really know how NASCAR is going. I don't think that we've ever been in this type of situation for a non-points race and an All-Star
I'm not
race
sure
like
how
this.
that would work.
No,
It's the driver that's qualified, not the car.
yeah.
Unless they're making an exception that as long as Larson is going to start the the main, he's already automatically locked in. He'll have to
But
do
the,
it rear,
but the
obviously,
but the thing is, say the Indy qualifying gets delayed an hour, 2 hours, or
and
whatever,
it can.
and then what happens then? And it'd be interesting. I don't. I think they're still trying to work out all the details for it, but
Fan
I don't
vote.
think. I don't think Rick Hendrick would have asked Harvick to do it if he didn't already talk to somebody in NASCAR about it. And
Yeah.
same with Larson too. I don't think they would have made this decisions if they didn't have any idea how to get it done. But it's a non-points race, so not a huge deal if he completely misses it. It sucks. Yeah, it'd be awesome to see him try to back up his All-Star win last year. But I mean, Indy 500 basically once in a lifetime opportunity for him. So you got to do what you got to do there. Another big news, and I actually saved a bunch of these news things. Actually, tons of stuff came out today. So the one thing you talked to me about was the news about Michael McDowell. So go ahead and talk about that.
Yeah, just announced that Michael McDowell signed with Spire Motorsports, which is kind of surprising, to drive I believe they said it was the 71 car next year, to be teammates with Corey LaJoie and Carson Hocevar.
So they're adding a third car full time.
Well, they have, can't think of his name, it's running it some now.
I think he's actually. Hold on, I've got his stuff pulled up right now. He's got a paint scheme for this weekend in Darlington. Yeah, Zane Smith.
That's right. So I don't know if that's a full time this year or not, but Spire's really been uh, stepping up their game a little bit.
Yeah, they've continuously, and it helps with Corey LaJoie having strong runs in these speedway races, for sure. Another big news that just came out today, and I don't even know if you happen to see this yet, but it was announced that after the 15 years, NASCAR Race Hub has now been canceled.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, so they're obviously making room for us to take over. And
I would think so.
The final episode will be aired on June 11th. So I'm not sure what's going to replace it. I think there's a lot of Amazon deals happening right now. That's kind of transitioned nicely now. Junior is going to be in the broadcast booth for Amazon and Turner next year. So TNT, Amazon, and they're working on a bunch of streaming ideas, how they want to do pre-race, post-race. Junior's talked about, he's read everywhere what the fans want, and Junior has a pretty much
less commercials.
Well, yeah. Let's see if we can do that. But Junior's all about doing what the fans want. He understands how the fans think. I think that'd be great for them. And Amazon basically do whatever they want. It's kind of like how they were with Thursday Night Football. It's like, what do you guys want to do? And we'll just put you the bill and have at it.
Right.
And so we'll see. That'll be interesting. I don't know if all. I think we were talking about Alan Bestwick. I think is the front runner to be back because he used to be part of TNT at one point.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I like Alan Bestwick. I think he's very good.
So he's in the running for that. So that was big news that happened this week, and another one that just came out today, and this is via Motorsports Wire. Stewart Haas Racing is possibly going to be sold after this year.
I heard they're shopping 2 of their charters anyway. So the speculation is which 2 for sure.
Ryan Preece, he's out.
Yeah, Ryan Preece is for sure gone. So who's the other? Do you keep Josh Berry? Do you keep?
I think you
Briscoe?
keep Josh. I think you're going to keep Josh Berry, and you're going to keep Noah. First time they've been there, and they've been leaps and bounds above Briscoe. And
I don't know about that.
Well, Noah has, but Josh just started. Josh is new at full time this year too. So, Noah was new last year, but they're both new to the team. Ryan Preece is definitely going 100%, and I think you're going to see Chase get bumped back down to Xfinity. So now where do these two charters go? That's the big question. Obviously, speculation is going to have is Junior going to finally go to the Cup Series.
Now, I wonder if Spire has 3 charters, or they've been relying on trying to qualify all 3. So
yeah, that could be one.
They've been buying, like I know they bought Rick Ware's charter or somebody's charter for a boatload of money. So somebody at Spire's got some very deep pockets.
One thing you could see happen, and I think it would make logical sense if Junior does start a Cup team. Obviously, this is more than likely Justin Allgaier's last year in the Xfinity Series. Why not put Justin Allgaier up in a Cup charter for at least a year, sign him a 1-year deal for it, and start getting the team. He has experience to get the team up and running and get on their feet. Because we all know that Carson Kvapil is going to be in the Xfinity Series next year. That's going to be the worst kept secret. I mean, he's racing another 5 races this year in the 88. Yeah, he's going to be in Xfinity next year, and he's good. He's freaking good.
So far, it proved that he's been right there. So
yeah, and he's racing at Darlington. So that'll be interesting to see him go on a bigger track like Darlington, see how he can race,
especially one where it's tricky.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do. I think he's just a natural racer. I think he'll be fine if he can get a solid top 15, 10 finish, and you just keep it clean.
Keeping the car under him and not wearing out the stuff.
Yeah, that's the key at Darlington.
That's hard to learn for a young guy.
So let's get into Throwback Week. Throwback Weekend at Darlington. This is really cool. Darlington added that second race permanently after COVID. They added some races to get back under the belt when COVID was
going. They should have never lost one race. Darlington is just
it's great to have it twice. I still wish it would be Father's Day weekend rather than Mother's Day. They've been off on Father's Day weekend a lot. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. But they do have a race on Father's Day weekend now. But it's Sunday night again. But Darlington's it's a different beast. It's track too tough to tame. Lady in Black. Holy shit, I hit the wall. Whatever you want to call it. It's awesome. It's Throwback Weekend. Tons of throwback schemes we're gonna go through here in a second. But let's give our power rankings for Darlington. And we've been off for a couple weeks, so stuff has changed big time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go through my list, and we'll see how it kind of tracks with what you've been seeing.
I've got one the same from my last power rankings.
Well, I have a big shakeup. So number 5, I got William Byron, and he's we've been talking about before. I went on vacation. William Byron was Mr. Consistent. Well, he's consistently not been great right now. He's had some issues in the last couple of races. He'll be fine. I'm not really worried about him. If he has a slump now, you'd rather have your slump now than later on. Number 4
ends at the slump for
Yeah. And number 4, I got Martin Truex Jr. He had a good shot to win that race last week. Number 3, Chase Elliott. He was right there mixing it up at the last week as well. Number 2, Denny Hamlin. Won Dover. Consistent at Kansas. He was fast. But number 1, I don't know if I've ever had him at number 1 this year, but I've got Kyle Larson. Is our list the same?
Yeah, we did not plan this and not talk about it. They are exactly the same.
That's funny. It's hard to not put Larson up at number 1 right now. The way
he's got a first and 2 seconds the last 3 races. I mean,
he's been pretty strong. And Darlington's one of his best tracks as well. And you talk about best tracks, Larson, Hamlin, Truex. This is their best track coming up. One of their best tracks. They're always battling it out. You're going to see them 3 battle it out. Larson lost a few times to Truex, lost to Denny Hamlin, finally broke through on the Southern 500 last year. So we'll see what Throwback Weekend will bring. I don't have a trivia question this weekend because we got a different segment this week. So I was going to be like, why is Darlington shaped the way it is? And everybody knows that answer because they're going to just flood your entire TV. Hey, this is why Darlington's shaped like this the entire weekend.
And big pond here.
Yeah, Mike Joy's going to tell you about 45 times during the race, and then he's going to also tell you during qualifying, during practice, and everything. So, and they'll tell you during Xfinity as well, and they'll probably say
it was the first super speedway for NASCAR, though.
One thing I want to touch on too from that was impressive. Did you see Kyle Busch's run at the end of
From
Kansas
20th to 8th.
in 2 laps?
Well,
That thing
that
was
shows you what tires do, and Kyle's still kind of a good driver there.
yeah. I mean, he was just ballsing it in there. He said,
Yeah.
"Screw it."
Oh yeah, and he had nobody else had fresh tires, so he was just running the shit out of it.
All right, ready to go through a couple of these schemes and kind of pick
Yeah.
what we like. There's one best scheme. Let's just get that out of the way right now. The best
Yeah.
scheme by far this weekend. I mean, it's probably the best throwback that's ever been because it's one of the coolest paint schemes NASCAR's ever had. The Terry Labonte throwback, Kyle Larson,
Even got
amazing
the font. I mean, that's what amazes
amazing,
me. It kind of looks
amazing,
like the chicken on the hood and everything.
just incredible job by the design crew, the decal department, and the way the numbers are moved up in this car. It works. It works
that one
really
looks
well.
really good like that.
It looks really, really good, and it was really cool to see on NASCAR Race Hub. I think it was Race Hub. They surprised Terry Labonte with unveiling this, so that was pretty cool. And Larson's got the throwback suit too, so it's the best scheme by far. So a couple schemes I'm looking at. I actually saw Austin Dillon's. That's pretty cool. Throwback to Senior's gold car that he raced in the All-Star race before. I do like Keselowski's, but probably the next favorite on it. I don't think it's a throwback, but the Justin Haley's FOP law enforcement car. That's pretty badass.
That's very cool.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys can probably imagine why I like that one. And then you've got the throwback to Jimmy Johnson for
I mean that one.
Bowman.
That one's you don't get the same like wow factor like you got from when Larson revealed that one. Kind of even like William Byron's the flame car from Gordon.
Well, it's because it's like, yeah, you kind of expected those to.
Yeah.
But talk about the numbers being kind of out of place. William Byron's just kind of this. There's nothing there between the 24 and the Exalta.
Yeah, I know.
It's missing something. Which ones do you like?
I do like Michael McDowell's Long John Silver's car.
That's pretty.
You're talking about something between a number and the Long John. He's got the Pirate. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
I did like Brad Keselowski's car. The rendering on NASCAR.com don't quite do it justice because it's kind of got the green chrome numbers and everything.
It'll be sharp at nighttime. It really will.
I like Ross Chastain's Busch Light car. I think that one's really sharp looking.
Yeah.
They actually have it with white Goodyear lettered tires on the. So I don't know if they're going to have that for throwback. We're going to have the white tires this year, but like they used to, that's kind of.
Or they're like giving the teams the option if they want to run a yellow or a white.
Yeah. Chase Elliott's throwback to Junior. I don't know. It's
hard.
I kind of get the same feeling on the other Hendrix cars where it's like,
well, it's neat. It's neat, but I feel like it's only been like 10 years. So it's not.
That's
like
what I mean.
How
far are you throwing that thing back? That's.
But I guess it's better effort than like what Denny Hamlin's running. He threw it back to like 2 weeks ago. So.
The 42 car looks kind of cool. I like that one.
Yeah, that's an old.
Tyler Reddick's. They say it's a throwback to Tim Richmond's. I don't really remember the car, but I think that's a good looking car. I think that's going to show up nice under the lights.
Yeah, Xfinity's doing
Ricky Stenhouse's. That one looks pretty.
It's not
bad.
that's not throwback. It's just really cool.
Right. Yeah. It's just a special paint scheme. Or
the throwbacks for Xfinity. Sammy Smith's got a really sharp TMC car. It just looks old school, really, really sharp. I think he's throwing it back to either a late model or a non-wing Sprint, if I'm not mistaken.
Looks like Sammy's car.
Maybe it is throwback to. Shit, that might be it. That might be.
It's TMC trucks all have the prism letters and the whole. It's. So
does that look like the font from Sammy's car? Can't quite tell. I think so.
I don't think this. Sammy was just a 1, so I don't think the font's the same. So
that's a big ass 8.
Yeah.
And you've got Brandon Jones, and it's not really a throwback because Junior ran it like last year. The Hellman's car. because Junior had the Hellman's 88. I'm pretty sure Junior ran it like last year, so I don't really understand how that's a throwback. I would liked it when they like
Ryan Ellis's, City Chevrolet Cold Trickle car.
That's probably my favorite in the Xfinity.
Yeah,
that or the Hot Wheels.
I would say Brennan Poole. That one's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's not Hot Wheels sponsor, but it's the Hot Wheels. The Hot Wheels car was really cool.
Throwback, I guess. Throwback.
How's nobody done the throwback to like M&M's or something? Like somebody can't find a quick sponsor for a race on M&M's and do an M&M's throwback. That'd be cool if Kyle Busch somehow landed that. That'd be funny.
Need to do like Reese's Pieces or something.
Truck. Oh, by the way, Truck Series. In case you're wondering, Kyle Busch is running. So we probably have this. Yeah, we probably have the same pick in Truck Series.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, I'm just as hard.
I literally just changed that scrolling through the.
Christian Eckes 19, old school looking truck. I like that, but not a whole lot of throwbacks.
Ross Chastain's running too.
Is he racing?
The 40 and the 45. The Buckle Up South Carolina Chevrolet.
So I mean, it could be a pretty good truck race.
Yeah, I think so. There's gonna be a lot of crashes.
Probably.
Daniel Dye's Peak Chevrolet is pretty cool looking.
So let's talk about Darlington though. You want to talk about tire wear? This track is notorious for tire wear. Yeah,
and it's that's sort of its character or whatever. So if they ever repaved it and it didn't wear tires, the racing it would break everybody's heart. The drivers all like it because, and we talked about it a little bit earlier. You can run it hard early. You're going to use up your stuff. So if you're running hard early, you better hope there's cautions. Or do you save it? Just kind of hang out, and then all of a sudden get a long run. You come on at the end. But it's a track you are going to pit for tires way before you pit for fuel.
Yeah, I think like and they're going to ask Larry McReynolds 100 times because that's just what they do in the broadcast.
2 tire stops.
No. Well, you might see somebody just balls it at the end if they're running like 20th and they want to try something, but it's going to be.
I get the start finish line.
Yeah, well, it's a difference of like 5 seconds a lap. It's ridiculous. It's but it wears it the right way but this is one of the trickiest pit roads to get on, and you'll see tons of pit road penalties, probably crashes, spinning out and getting onto pit road. You see it every year.
The track's really fast, and you're coming down pit road. Your tires already wore out, and you got to get slowed down to probably 45 or 55 miles an hour.
You have about
and turns 3 and 4 are the tight corners on the track compared to 1 and 2. So you're definitely in the wheel a lot harder there as it is, and you get down there and hit the brakes and unload that car. You're going to see them come. Some of them are going to be coming around.
Well, the Darlington Cup race is a 400-mile race, like its big sister, the Southern 500 in the fall, and I like how that
400.
Yeah, and you keep Southern 500, that's fine, and I like the 400 for Sunday night. I wish they started the race. You're talking about starting it a little bit sooner, where it starts daytime, goes into nighttime. Started at 6 o'clock. That'd have been really cool, and then have the transition up. Yeah, but it's a 3:15 race. It's not Sunday night.
So, oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was Sunday night.
I just checked it right now. So,
okay.
3:30. So green flag's probably like 3:45 or something. So you might get into a little bit later time, and then you got to see what the elements are going to be, if it rains or not. But I'm sure we're for an exciting weekend. Throwback weekend's awesome. Got throwback hat on to Junior, so that's the only throwback one I had that was old enough to call throwback. Of course, according to people, last week was a throwback. So let's get into our fantasy and then give our picks for this weekend in Darlington. So go ahead with your fantasy lineup, since I think I've been starting off the last couple times.
Yeah, well, I'm last anyway, so like I said,
well, I'm losing ground. What?
10 to go, I was leading fantasy points.
Well, I'm losing ground pretty significantly, so I need to try to make up a little bit this weekend. So let's see what we got. Go ahead with your starters.
All right. So this week I got Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick, Chase Briscoe, Christopher Bell, and in my garage I have Brad Keselowski. Yeah, I'm using off the good drivers mostly. Got to make up ground.
That and Chase Briscoe. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't use everybody. But so feature matchups this week. So we have Denny Hamlin versus William Byron. That's going to be a tough one, but I have Denny Hamlin. I think he's just got the momentum going right now. Tyler Reddick and Joey Logano. That's another actually tough one. I do have Reddick on that one. Figure I better play him since I have him in my lineup.
Yep.
Chase Elliott, Ross Chastain. Chase Elliott has been improving lately, so I'm going to put him in there. And then Kyle Busch and Christopher Bell. Being I have Christopher Bell in my fantasy, so I did pick Christopher Bell.
All right, so my starters this weekend. Trying to even out a little bit on who I'm using. So we'll see if Ford can actually get a win this year too. They're winless right now. So my starters, I've got Noah Gragson. That team has been improving each and every week, and they've been very, very impressive to me. Kyle Larson, I figured I've got to go swing big, a little bit big on this one. I got Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch, and Eric Jones. If people forgot that Eric Jones has a Southern 500 win, and he goes really well at Darlington for whatever reason.
Is he
racing? He is in my lineup.
Well,
so I'll let you know. Well, if he isn't, my garage is Denny Hamlin, and I'll throw him right back in.
I had Eric Jones in, then I didn't know if he was going to race or not, so I took him out and put in Chase Briscoe.
I'm putting him in there, and until I'm told otherwise, no. If it gets voided, cool. I'll throw in Denny instead of that. So not a huge loss then. I'm just trying not to use the crap out of Denny because I got 6 more uses for him.
Yeah.
Feature matchups: William Byron versus Denny Hamlin. I've got Denny Hamlin. He's just been one of the top 3 fastest over the last few weeks. Tyler Reddick versus Joey Logano. I actually picked Joey Logano. Darlington's a very good track for Joey, so if Ford's going to get back on track, I think it's this weekend. Chase Elliott versus Ross Chastain. I've got Chase as well. Kyle Busch, Christopher Bell. I don't know. I just think him ballsing it in the last 2 laps last week might give you a little bit of a spark that you need to have a decent race at Darlington. I've got Kyle Busch.
Cool.
It doesn't even say good bets. It says Denny Hamlin is a must pick. You must. So he's definitely getting a flat. He's crashing into the
yeah. He's
wall.
done.
So these are the must picks. Denny and Kyle Larson. It says avoid Ryan Blaney. We'll see. Avoid Ross Chastain. I don't like that avoid. Ross is pretty good at Darlington.
I could see Ross being fast just by how hard you can run that track.
His finishes haven't shown how good he's run at Darlington because I'm pretty sure he and Larson slammed each other 2 years ago, caused all that. It might have been even the last spring race and all that controversy with Chastain. So I think he's going to run fine. Who's the sleeper this week? Eric Jones if he races.
Yeah, two-time Darlington winner.
Yeah, did he win 2 Southern 500s? Or did he win a throwback?
That I don't know. He won 1 Southern 500 for sure.
I remember he won in the it was the Furniture Row car before Truex went into the Furniture Row car. It was like a brand new team then, and he used pitch strategy to end up winning. We were like, how did that happen? All right, so our picks for this weekend: Truck Series, Xfinity, Cup. I'm pretty sure we both have the same truck driver.
Kyle Busch.
Yeah, let's just go out on a limb there. Xfinity. Who's your Xfinity pick?
Taking the low-hanging fruit on this one. I got William Byron.
Oh, he's racing. Yeah, that's right. I've got Cole Custer in this one. Kind of low-hanging, same type of, He'll be up there. And Cup Series.
My pick is Christopher Bell this week. I figured he's a good one running the top. Like you don't have to run there. Mom's pick is William Byron.
Well, it's Mother's Day weekend, but I hope that's not true. My pick, I'm making it 2 in a row for him, Kyle Larson.
That was my pick last week, and I did get it right.
Well, who did I pick? Oh, yeah, we texted each other right as they were opening up pace laps, and I was like, it's Christopher Bell. Start on the pole. I was wrong. All right, so I think that does it for NASCAR this week. We went through all the news and everything like that. So this episode is brought to you by SeatGeek. SeatGeek is a live entertainment platform rethinking ticketing by caring more about their fans, teams, and venues. They are powering a new open entertainment industries where fans have effortless access to experiences in teams, venues, and shows, and have seamless access to their audiences. With trusted consumer marketplace and innovative enterprise ticketing technology, SeatGeek has what you need for any sporting event. Make sure you use my promo code ZBMedia to get $20 off your purchase from SeatGeek. That is ZBMEDIA from SeatGeek, $20 off. You can't beat that. Check them out now. Get your next concert, sporting event, or anything else from SeatGeek. Back to the show. Sprint car action time. World of Outlaws invading the PA Posse this week, but let's touch on what we saw last week. Starting to get into David Gravel time now. Starting to extend his lead a little bit. Yeah. Eldora was great racing, though.
Great racing.
I didn't see any highlights from Jacksonville, so if you could probably touch on it if you saw any of the Jacksonville Speedway highlights. But Eldora was great, and Eldora, sometimes it can be a snoozer because as big of a track it is, and you don't really get up to that lap traffic. But both days were just phenomenal racing. It kind of threw me off guard, and I was very happy to see that.
Yeah, I was going to say, just not even only the Outlaws, the high limit racing's been good. The dirt racing in general has been great. It wasn't as good as the Cup race this week. That's the first time I think we probably ever said that on here. But, it's been exciting. You don't really know who's going to win until they come right down to it. So
no, I think the second
how many times the sprint cars had a last lap pass? It's just...
Well, this has never been said, but the second most exciting race this weekend was probably the Kentucky Derby in the photo finish.
Yeah, but Larson said, "Here, hold my beer. We'll do the."
He did. He did send that tweet. Yeah. So David Gravel's kind of got it rolling right now. Slowly extending his point lead. He's got, I believe, a 78-point lead over Donnie Schatz. But again, Donnie Schatz's time is
starting to get hot
up.
Now.
It's coming up. It's gonna get hot and slick. We keep talking about it. Let's preview the Outlaws this weekend. It's probably gonna be a washout in Pennsylvania this weekend. Invading the PA Posse. They're actually racing as we're speaking right now, as we're recording it at Lincoln, and that's the only race that looks like they'll get in this weekend because
they might get in Saturday. Now I don't know if they're going to have any kind of a Sunday rain date for Williams Grove or not. Probably
I don't think that. I doubt they will because they have to get to Attica next week. So they're.
It's 80% chance of rain Friday. That one's done.
Yeah.
50 on Saturday.
And depending how much rain gets left,
depending on when
track,
it gets there, So if it's late Friday and into Saturday, then clears up, probably get it in.
Yeah, or even early Friday, and it clears up hopefully. Yeah. And it's the Morgan Cup, so it's a pretty big race for the Outlaws. Yeah. And was this the one Rico won last year and chugged a beer, or was that the National Open? I can't remember. One of the Outlaw races. Yeah, I can't remember.
He didn't win the National Open last
year. Well, actually, the Morgan Cup was only racing that Friday. They didn't have the Saturday race because it rained. I swear Pennsylvania must be in the freaking rainforest at this point.
Oh, especially when the Outlaws come in.
I've never seen so much freaking rain. They cancel every single damn week. It seems like at least one of the tracks that.
Yeah, I don't know. Williams Grove's only got 4 or 5 races in all year.
Yeah, and so the crazy thing is though, Outlaws are racing, and I was like, oh, maybe some PA guys will. I was thinking like Brent Marks, and then you got Macri are racing. That might be. No, they're racing high limit the same damn night, so they're not going to be there because they're racing for the high limit championship. So that's going to. You're probably not going to see a PA Posse win this weekend.
I don't see any PA cars fast enough to run with the Outlaws. Marks and Macri are probably the only two. Lance is probably going to be the best shot at Williams Grove just because he's just so freaking good there.
Who's that one that's been winning a lot? Is it Wagaman?
Troy Wagman?
Yeah, is that the one that's been knocking off some wins lately? Or
yeah, I mean, I I don't see that beating an outlaw car, but shit, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, uh, if you get everything timed right, falls in your hands, and you
Maybe
start
Raymer at Lincoln.
maybe, but he hasn't been racing that well this year.
No, that's Dietrich's best shot's probably Lincoln. And yeah, I mean, if Troy Wyman's going to win one, it would probably be Lincoln. I don't see him beating the Outlaws at the Grove.
I actually have Wegman as my pick at Lincoln.
Do you really?
Yeah.
My pick's Anthony Macri.
Is he racing at Lincoln then?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
according to his
if
Twitter,
there's any PA that wins, it's only going to be at Lincoln. I don't see any PA winning at Williams Grove.
Agreed.
I think it's an outlaw sweep if they get both races in. So let's give it a shot, and we'll give picks. Rain's probably the pick for Friday, but if they do get it in, who do you have for Friday night?
I got Buddy Kofoid for Friday night. I figured that would be his first win, as far as I know, at Williams Grove, and he's been quick. We'll see how he is on a big track.
Well, those
Toyota can hold up.
Well, the Toyotas are fast on the bigger tracks, and they've been pretty impressive. I've got Sheldon Haudenschild for this one. I probably should just pick David Gravel for everyone because I'm pretty sure he's going to get first or second lately. He's been on a roll, but I actually did not pick him this weekend. So who's your night two?
I have Gravel for Saturday night.
Saturday night to take the Morgan Cup.
Now,
well, I've got the guy that we were talking about that probably is going to start getting on a roll. I've got Donnie Schatz to take the Morgan Cup home.
Now, here's the thing. The speculation has it that, Darren Pittman's going to be running the 69 car at Williams Grove some. I have not heard anything about it.
No.
I am going to say not. But if Darren Pittman comes in and runs in Dad's car, that is
he's got a good shot to win it for.
I think you see him run the National Open this year in that car again to try to win it, because
they would have announced something by now if Pittman was running this weekend.
I would have thought so too.
Because there's a lot of Darren. I mean, there's a lot of Darren Pittman fans too still, and they would also, I mean, Donnie and them would advertise it, say, hey, watch
Pittman's got that business he's trying to run, so I don't think he wants to run much. I probably expect him for the National Open, but I don't expect him.
I'm about to say, as we're recording this, he's probably like, oh yeah, he's racing this weekend. No, he's not. I didn't see anything. All right, so high limit racing. Let's cover that. 34 Raceway Tri-City, which is different from Tri-State, where Outlaws were a couple weeks ago, and Aruba, Jamaica, Kokomo.
Yeah,
on Monday.
The Beach Boys were talking about a dirt track and not some island off the Florida Keys.
100%.
I'm convinced of that.
Well, 34 Raceway, they've raced their Outlaws this year, and it's an all-star regular track too.
It's really West Burlington, Iowa.
Yep, and dark clay again, I believe.
It don't look like Knoxville clay. Sometimes the videos fool you a little bit just from the angles. I didn't see like an overhead shot, but it don't look like it's that dark clay. Macri won the race last April in 2023. 3/8 mile dirt oval. Nothing special or stand out about it. It's looks like it's been all the races have been good. So, but my pick for this one, I got Brent Marks getting this.
Son of a bitch. So do I. Yep, I've got it. Yeah, I've got Brent Marks.
Which Brent Marks is in the National Sprint Car Poll. They have him leading in the Sprint Car Poll, which nothing against Brent Marks. I don't agree with that, but I think he's the only one that has enough races to qualify for the their metric or whatever.
Yeah, so the big thing in high limit that for last week is that Brad Sweet's starting to get on a damn freaking roll. We watched the one last Saturday. I've never seen somebody run so smooth on these corners, and everybody and all the other drivers they're wheeling it in. You see him fighting the car. He's just cruising. He's going on a Sunday night drive.
Yeah, that's all he's doing. Don't watch the car. Watch the driver's hands. How much they're working.
He's like this the entire time.
He's running the bottom, and that track had those ruts.
He never hit
hardly steered that thing. It was
now and then.
If you don't slide your car, you're going to be faster. If you can get the turn.
It was a hell of a race last Saturday, though. I will say that was
between the two owners of the High Limit Series.
yeah, and then Corey Day was trying to dice it up too. It was great racing. It's awesome, but I mean, Brad Sweet just prevailed because I mean he just stayed very consistent laps, didn't panic, just kept rolling it smooth.
Yeah,
Larson screwed up by hitting that rut.
Times.
What's that?
He lost the lead, 2 or 3 times to Larson and got it
and
right back.
He didn't do anything crazy. He did.
Then at the end, he kind of pulled away a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, and well, it helped that Larson and Corey Day were battling too, and then hitting the hell out of that. That was a massive rut that they were hitting on 3 and 4. That made for pretty good racing too. It's like who's going to hit it now? And that was
Sweet missed it every time.
Yeah, that's a good track. Yeah, I like that. It was 50,000 to win. That's huge for. Funny enough, the owner of the series ends up winning the 50 grand, but it is what it is. And yeah, that was fantastic racing. So Tri-City is the next race. It's Saturday night. Hopefully we get some racing this weekend, and if the Outlaws are going to cancel, hopefully High Limit stays. So what's the Tri-City and Tri-State? Not the same track.
Yeah, this is in Pontoon Beach, Illinois, which apparently is just
right
across the. It's I don't know what it says. That's right on their website. It's across the river, the Mississippi River from St. Louis, Missouri. So they said 8 miles from St. Louis. So it's 3/8 mile. It looks like it builds up a heavy cushion. It's one of them where it looks like it's difficult to see the wall. They're going to be scraping it, but even after they scrape it, you can't tell where the racetrack ends, the wall starts.
Probably have a lot of moisture in the air.
It could very, very well be. This could be one, may not be as good of a race, just if it gets that cushion, and that's going to be the fast way around.
I'm not buying it. I'm saying it pretty much. I don't know if there's been a bad race this year.
I'm trying to give a different perspective because I keep thinking, the whole thing is lap traffic is key, and that's going to be, and that's every sprint car race. Whoever gets through lap traffic.
Well, not Eldora. That was a great race.
That cushion's fast. Lappers are going to be up there too, so you have to be good enough to get by them, and get back to the cushion without. So that could be some big time sliders going on this one.
Well, who you got for this one?
I got Rico.
All right, he's in a little bit of a slump right now.
He is a little bit of a slump. I was torn between him and Corey Day.
That kid's good.
I don't know how much Larson's racing this week. So I didn't put him in any of my picks. I just,
I don't either. No, and I don't know if we talked about it on the show about Corey Day hopping in that asphalt car for Junior, the late model. He won his first race ever as a Hickory Speedway down here in North Carolina. Impressive. Just a good driver. Just an awesome driver.
18 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not picking him. I was just on his high horse right now. I'm going with Brad Sweet. He's the best one going right now. He's the most consistent, and he's actually the point lead by 8 points over Sunshine now. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, tight battle right now. It's getting good, and both of them were kind of pulling away from third place. But yeah, Brad Sweet I got for Tri-City, and the big money race on Monday night, Kokomo. This is a cool track.
Quarter mile, fast paced. It gets pretty slick, but that actually makes the racing better, I think, because there's going to be multiple grooves on that one.
So where is it?
What's that?
Where is it? Where is
Kokomo, Indiana?
Okay, and it's that dark clay on this one. I'm pretty certain.
I believe so. Which is a great racing surface. I mean, it just holds.
The Indiana tracks put on good races. They really do. All those Midwest tracks do.
The wing cars are fun here. The non-wing cars at Kokomo can really be exciting.
I can imagine. Yeah. All right. Well, let's give our pick for Kokomo then. Who you got?
So I got Sweet for this one. You're going to bring the big money home 2 times in a row.
I got the Concrete Kid, Anthony Macri for Kokomo. So I was kind of going a little bit different direction here. We'll see how he can do. He's been racing pretty well on those little bull ring quarter mile tracks. So
he's been racing everywhere. Every time he goes back and runs Pennsylvania, he pretty much wins all those races. So
well, I mean, Let's face it, it's not the
Yeah,
same
right.
talent
Yeah,
as what he's
unfortunately,
racing.
I mean, we're Posse fans, but they're just not as
Yeah, we talked about that. It's
the
not.
Outlaws.
Yeah,
They're high limit guys right now.
yeah, it's a little bit different. And all right, so that ends it for Sprint Car. Pretty much ends it for the show. I just want to touch on the four wides that happened 2 weeks ago at ZMAX. Justin Haley, Matt Hagan, Greg Anderson, and surprise, Gage Herrera won. And Greg Anderson's the big story right now. He's starting to knock off wins like crazy.
Yeah.
And Justin Ashley, I think that's his second or third win, and that's Matt Hagan's second or third win as well. So you're starting to see some people a little bit pulling away as of right now. We'll see how it goes into the summer when it gets a lot slicker, a lot hotter. They got some northern tracks that are coming too soon, so the hot slick might not be exactly the same, but in the north during the summer, a little humid, so that's gonna shake some things up.
That's for
in
sure.
AHRA.
And the density altitude is going to be quite a bit higher than what they've been running. Also, on IndyCar news, if people haven't heard, they had Team Penske being. I don't know if they ever got a fine, but Penske they fired.
They did an internal suspension. On a bunch of people.
They were getting rid of. I mean, it's one of those things. Of course, they're going to claim they didn't know that happened. They knew it, but they had to do something, so somebody had to be the scapegoat.
Well, it's like in any sport you see. If you know there's going to be some sort of external investigation come from the main series, or like college football, but the NCAA investigating. You see it all the time. Like Michigan, they suspended Jim Harbaugh, and because they were like, we know this stuff's going to happen. We're going to take this internally. Hopefully, it won't be too harsh on the school. It's the same thing you do in NASCAR and IndyCar, all of that. So I don't really know how big of a deal it's going to be. They've got so many employees that they'll be fine to make do.
Oh yeah.
And Indy qualifying's coming up. That's getting exciting. And that means we're 2 weeks away.
There's only 34 entries this year, so there's only
one person's going to miss. I swear, if Larson's the one, that's the one out, and we're going to this.
I mean, anything's. It's one of those things. Like, if Larson's in the Fast 12, he's going to have a tough time getting to Wilkesboro. But we all want to see him in the Fast 12 to run for the pole.
Oh yeah, screw Wilkesboro. We're going to in person to Indy. He can get in Fast 12. And if you don't start in the top 12, you don't really have a chance at the Indy. Let's be honest, you really don't. Unless you get a bunch of cautions and you can have some strategy, but you don't generally see that in Indy. We'll preview that here in a couple weeks, but you don't generally see that with Indy.
We need Indy cars at North Wilkesboro.
God, they fly. It would be similar to Iowa, how you'd see them on that. Yeah. They put on great shows.
They look like sprint cars on a quarter mile on that track.
And brand new pavement
with the new surface down.
Oh yeah,
they fly.
Yeah, they could race 3 lanes and they wouldn't even budge. It'd be great. I think that does it for this week. Throwback week. It's a big time week. Probably the coolest.
This is fun. It's always exciting to see the paint schemes and the driving suits. And
Darlington's a
couple
track.
Years ago, Blaney had that throwback where he was dressed like looked like a '70s porn star with the mustache and all. That was pretty cool.
I hope he does it this week. I hope he does it. I hope somebody does. Yeah, exciting week. Exciting weekend of racing, and we're when you get to the All-Star race, you're kind of like, all right, we're starting to get into the meat of the season now. It's go time now. So, all right, well, make sure you follow anywhere you get your podcast, any podcast platforms. Make sure you check out the YouTube channel. Sorry we're delayed, but you missed out last week. No, I was in a little bit better weather and area and drinking and stuff, so it was fun. But we're back at it on a weekly basis. Drops every midweek usually. So whenever we usually get to it. And make sure you share it with everybody you know. Follow all social media platforms. And we'll be back at it again next week to recap all of the Throwback weekend action. Till then, we'll see you then.
All right. Good night.